Let's see. I got one here I want to get out of the way. The John McAfee Award for destroying wealth and wasting my time, and that goes to blockchain, which is just, come on. Like, I don't know. I think there was a period there where I'm like, okay, I guess I'm listening, and I mean, let me just like real quick give people the pitch that we've gotten literally probably 1,000 times this past year about blockchain and how it fits in with gaming. So blockchain is the underlying technology that basically creates Bitcoin. It is a distributed ledger, is the best way to put it, which means just a bunch of different computers throughout the world all have this same ledger. And anytime someone wants to make a transaction, against this ledger, all of the ledgers have to change at the same time. That's blockchain. That's what gives Bitcoin its security and apparently its value. So people were saying, well, we're going to use this blockchain technology to give people ownership over like digital items, and then we're going to enable them to sort of mine or to play games and earn this digital currency, and they'll be able to spend that digital currency in games. And there were multiple startups, like dozens of startups, it felt like, dealing with this blockchain tech and saying, oh, we're going to apply it to video games, and nothing happened with any of them. And it was just like got to this point where every time I saw that word in my inbox, my eyes glazed over and I just immediately threw it away. I could not care less.
Jeff, you're oversimplifying a large market once again.
Well, there is no large market yet. There's maybe potential, but even then, there's definitely no market. No one's using it.
Here's what I say is going to happen. Okay, just think back to the .com crash and then the internet boom that came after it. It's the same thing that's going to happen here. There's actually 2,000 currencies out there. I would hazard to guess 100 or 200 of them could be related to games, and they're not all going to succeed. Most of them are going to fail. The challenge for them right now is to make things simple enough for consumers to adopt them, and then once they adopt them, then you can have this great sort of benefit accruing for people, where like the blockchain will give you unique collectible items that you can own or transfer to a new game or resell. It removes some power that is misplaced in the hands of publishers, who basically let you rent out your characters. And when they want to shut down a game, they shut it down, right? And then your character is gone, and you're paying them all this money, but you're not owning that character. So there's a certain consumer rights thing that comes into play here, that if blockchain succeeds, then it's going to be a great benefit for gamers, right? There's the other thing about stores where, like if your transactions are transparent and verifiable and secure, then those stores can pay developers almost immediately. This is something that like Robot Cash came up with as an idea a year ago, but they failed to execute on because the SEC started cracking down on the issuance of new cryptocurrencies, right? And so they kind of backed off on this idea. But I think it was a good idea that instead of getting paid in 60 days by Steam, you could get paid in 6 hours by whoever's running the blockchain-based store. That's a good idea. So I think there's good ideas here.
But
that it's going to play out. There's going to be a lot of scams, but then after some point, when it all settles out, we're going to have some major new players in the game business.
My thing here, though, Dean, is pitch us on something concrete. And not just hypotheticals, because we're at the point now where anytime you push back on these people with these pitches, they don't have anything concrete to tell you. They're just talking about hypotheticals. And it's like, okay, well, this is the 400th time I've heard this pitch.
Mm-hmm. Robot Cash does have 700 games that they're going to have in a store.
I don't doubt the hypothetical potential here, and I don't doubt the benefits that could come if people adopted it. The weak link in the chain is the one that we glossed over there, Dean, and it's getting people to adopt this. I don't see that happening. I don't see how, especially when there are so many existing infrastructures in place to easily do basically the same things that blockchain claims it could do, but without the same like giving like it doesn't have any concern for consumer rights. Like you can own a digital item on Steam and you could sell it, and you can make currency that works in the Steam store by selling your digital items. Now, and like you said, if Steam shuts down, they could just take all those digital items away, and that's that. But most people don't care. Most people like and publishers don't care about consumer rights. I just don't see the benefit here. Now, like the one thing that you did say was developers getting paid in 6 hours. Maybe that is the one thing that could work. I just also don't see anyone really wanting to get paid in digital currency.
They had another good idea about allowable resale of used games, right? So in that case, 70% of the money would still go to a publisher. 25% goes to the gamer, and 5% goes to Robot Cash. Like that was all.
And I could see the potential of that happening, but you know who's not going to control that? Robot Cash. No way does Robot Cash have.
But publishers like it.
Publishers like it, but they'll do it themselves, and they'll run their own sort of blockchain.
Only if they can amass a lot of people for a store. But if Robot Cash amasses a lot of people for a store, then they're going to do it.
But if Steam said tomorrow, you could start selling your used games, but you just have to opt into our blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
They like
blockchain wins.
That would demolish any other competitor in a second.
Right. And I mean, if Amazon adopts blockchain,
they have such high in the sky ideas that are just never going to pan out. There's just way too much.
I think the value of the startups is they can either win and get the mainstream audience, or they can force the mainstream companies like, say, Amazon or Steam to adopt it.
Yeah, and for sure. And I agree that there's going to be something done with blockchain in some way. It is an interesting technology. It feels like a waste of my time. And so far, the biggest thing it's done is basically just destroy people's wealth. People invested a lot of money in Bitcoin and in Ethereum, which is a hard thing to say.
I will grant that it's hard to survive the scams. And like there was a new scam that emerged this week, where one of the things people were saying to prove that we're not a scam is that we have high transaction volume. Like if there's lots and lots of people trading our currency, our cryptocurrency, then we're real. We're not fake. We're not a scam. Well, it turns out that there's these bots that people could adopt to create fake transactions to mask the fact that they don't have that many transactions.
Yeah. So the risk reward here is just it's not a very good
plan. Man, if I knew you guys were going to be talking about blockchain and crypto monies, I would have stayed in bed. I got some Minotti monies for all you. Who wants some of my Minotti monies?
Ooh. Initial coin offering. All right, I'm in there.
I got a deal for you, Mike. Stay on to the end of this conversation. I'm going to give you 10 crypto coins in.
I only want Dean dollars. That's the only one for me.
Deanlers.